My mom sent me an article this morning, and it said something about gynecomastia or something. I can't remember the name of it, but um, I was looking it up, and it says that one of the leading causes of men developing breasts is smoking weed, and I was like, God damn. So you know them brothers that be having them, they look like they got little A cups. You know what I'm saying? Cats be having the fat stomachs with the A-cup breasts, or their bodies look like they starting to melt. Dr. Wesley was one of the first ones to get a breakdown about weed, right? So he was the first ones that warned us. And the problem is that it's way too many niggas. You smoke too much weed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like so much weed that niggas is tripping, and then the estrogen in your body is increasing. Yeah, the Pop Plot is an amazing book. He's the reason why everybody knows about this information in the first place. He was the first person that pushed it out, and they was heavy on him, and he was getting ridiculed, but now it's normal information, right? So, yeah, so right now, fellas, and y'all can be honest about this, put a baby bottle in the comments if that's happening to your body. Because Kevin Gates said the reason he had to get in shape because he was holding a baby and it tried to suck on his nipple. You know what I'm saying? And it's bad out here because all of the soy that's in the food. If you watch Clone Tyrone, they talked about how they was sprinkling the flavoring. You know what I'm saying? They putting it in the weed, they put it in the food, right? And nobody's gonna tell you this because, of course, weed is big business right now. You know what I'm saying? Weed is huge business. See, none of the men wanna admit this right now. Put a baby bottle in the comments. You know damn well your body is melting right now. You know what I'm saying? I gotta say this while I'm in the gym, getting mine right, just hit the chest machine a little bit. We're gonna poke it out though. We're gonna make sure that, we do the weights with the incline so we get this part up here. I'm about to be like this in a second. And what Dr. Wesley was explaining on why you smoke the weed, he said while you smoke the weed, it actually makes you more feminine, right? So that means that you ever had a conversation with a guy while he high, and all of a sudden he just get a little softer. Voice be all soft, palms be all sweaty. I hate shaking anybody's hand while they high. It's the worst handshake on the planet. Like, pause. You know what I'm saying? It's just, what's up, bro? And then it's just, all the masculinity just fall out the body. You know what I'm saying? Just fall out the body. And the new weed that's being smoked today, nobody want to admit this, but this weed is like crack. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, and I'm sure somebody high right now, like, Keys is blowing my high. I did not come here for this. But I just want to hit you with the warning label because they put the warning labels on cigarettes. They don't put no warning labels on weed, right? Nobody's telling you none of the warnings about weed, right? And the problem is that cats be so high and they smoke too much. I remember when I used to smoke weed, I used to smoke a lot. You know what I'm saying? But the weed that we smoked, it was Reggie in comparison. It was Reggie Miller in comparison to the weed y'all smoke now. I went to go visit this factory because, we working with these people on some CBD stuff and things of that nature. And they happened to give me they threw a bag of all of the stuff they had in there. And one of them was the dabs. The dabs looked like crack. And now they be having the glass pipes where they be smoking the dabs too. So, boy, man, you be high for 5 days straight. You know what I'm saying? We used to smoke on that Reggie Miller. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, even the stuff that we thought was the purple and the kush and, you feel me? And what we thought was the cookies, it was still regular. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to smoke, we'd be smoking back to back. We'd roll up 3 blunts at once. We'd pour a little syrup on it so it burnt a little slower. You know what I'm saying? But still, that weed was Reggie Miller. That weed was giving me a little slow motion. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't like the weed that y'all got nowadays. The weed that you got nowadays, because of the increased THC, man, it's destroying your system. It's destroying the system. It's destroying them. And I didn't like it because what I realized, like, my body felt different. My consciousness felt different. You know what I'm saying? I would feel what's the word? Paranoid. You know what I'm saying? I started to get paranoid on the weed, like I'm not in control of my reality. And I'm like, what's they putting in the weed now? I just noticed like it was a switch. I used to be able to smoke that good Reggie Miller, you know what I'm saying, get high, and then I'm just vibing for the day. I'm just in my mood, I'm in my bag, and then all of a sudden I noticed a switch of the weed. You know what I'm saying? I went to a different region, I started smoking, and I'm like, no, weed ain't never made me feel like this before. And the problem is, it's like you have a product your whole life, and then they start switching up the ingredients. So you're defending this product that you've been using, not realizing that the ingredients have been switched. You know what I'm saying? So now you getting high, but it ain't the same supply, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was to start a weed company for y'all, which I'm not gonna do, and I told somebody to do this because I figured cats is already smoking and they gonna be smoking anyway. I start a Reggie weed company. None of my weed good. All of it's Reggie. You know what I'm saying? We got straight organic Reggie weed. You smoke and it give you a regular high. None of my weed. Don't come to me for none of that crack weed. I got nothing but regular weed. If I started a weed company, that'd be my whole thing. You know what I'm saying? And then I wouldn't even give it to you to smoke. You know, they got it to where they put it in the pipes to where you can steam the weed. So, because when you put the fire to it, it changes the chemical composition of the weed, and that's what would be the most harmful part of it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, if I had a weed company, it'd be straight Reggie, because I see cats smoking and they becoming bipolar, schizophrenic, and they have these personality disorders. You know what I'm saying? There be all kind of issues going on, and nobody's talking about that. You feel me? Like, we got to switch it up. Like, you know how hard it is to even go get you some organic Reggie weed today? Cats is too high, and I'm tired of seeing y'all walk around with these breasts. Like, the breast is for the ladies. Y'all out here confusing the babies. Babies don't know what's going on. This is why the little boys want to be girls, because they fathers got breasts too. They don't know what's happening. They thought they pops was going through a transition. He was just smoking too much. They thought he was going through a gender reassigned surgery, but you was just smoking too much. And now it ain't even just the weed, of course. That's the weed on top of the lack of exercising, on top of the lack of proper nutrition in the foods and the diets, right? You know, and then it's on top of the stress. So when you add that, especially when you smoking to try to kill the stress, and the stress, you understand me, is tearing up the body and the nervous system at the same time, right? So now you having a compound effect of these things, right? And then, you know, I got the stocks up there. So when you broke and you ain't got no money, you want to smoke to distract yourself from the work that you need to do that you don't feel like doing because you feel like you behind, because everybody is so ahead. Not realizing you need to start from day one, and that man needs his focus. And that be tearing away from the focus, because when you have a decrease in testosterone and increase in estrogen, right, you have a decrease in the willingness to put in effort, because testosterone makes you feel good for putting in effort. So now the gym doesn't feel good. The working out doesn't feel good, right? But me going to the gym and putting in the effort, right, makes me feel good, because that's what that testosterone molecule does, right? It makes me want to go. It makes me want to put in effort. It makes me want to be in competition, right? So understanding that when you decrease that molecule of testosterone and increase that estrogen within the body, a man becomes less ambitious, less competitive, less willful, less drive, less deterministic, less of a leader. And then that's when you got a society the way it is. Go do your own study on your own weed. Don't be regurgitating, weed is natural. Man, so is coca leaves. But that's what they make crack out of. So is coca leaf, but that's where the cocaine comes from. So is poplar seeds, right? But are you going to smoke opium? Sugar is natural too. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you have to understand that there are millions of plants on this planet Earth, yet people only choose to burn one and inhale it. Millions. You can actually smoke mullein. Now, you know, it's better that you put it in tea, and the mullein is actually detoxing the lungs. And actually, we got mullein on Gold Water too. We about to start giving out mullein with each order for free. I think we're going to do something this year. We're going to definitely have it at InvestFest, where everybody can get their mullein. It detoxes the lungs, right? So especially in Atlanta where there's more hookah than air out here. So you definitely gonna need some of that mullein to decrease, to detoxify the lungs, right? So you can have it in a tea, or some say that you can smoke it. Now we know once we put the fire to it, it changes it a bit, right? But I'd be rather you smoking, a mullein hookah, right, than anything else. Now listen, that's something that we coming out with. We got the mullein going on at Goldwater. We got a lot of different things. We got the mullein tea, right? And then, of course, we got the mushroom coffees, right, to stimulate the body. But the problem in our culture right now is that we do drugs as stimulants that decrease our mental faculties and decrease our biological faculties, right? So instead of having stimulants in a culture that's about, let's say, we taking brain supplements, right? We taking mushrooms that enhance your cognitive functions, your memory, right? Your ability of recall. This is why we got the Goldwater. The Goldwater, you take a sip of that, right? And your whole electrical body system start to become activated. Hand-eye coordination starts to increase and things of that nature. I want us to have a culture to where we're fixated, right, on increasing our body functions, not decreasing our body functions, right? Because when you look at it, if we had the opposite culture of what we have now, something that soberizes versus something that got us high, we would have more control over our reality. But I want to see that because the reason I started Goldwater as a company, where Goldwater is not just one product. We actually have a lot of products. We have products that stimulate the brain, and we're actually going to go through a rebranding because people don't understand the value of a lot of the products. So let's say in Smart Moss, it actually has cannabinoids. So it has CBD. It has the part of the CBD is the part of it where you actually are getting the healing effects, right, from it. The THC is what gets you high, right, which is different. So when you burn that THC molecule, it becomes a different drug essentially, right? But inside that, we also have the mushroom lion's mane. That lion's mane actually helps remyelinate your neurons, but your circuits within the brain, right? Your dendrites. So your dendrites are, it's like a little web, within your brain that connects your thoughts and the electricity circuits between one another. Now, as you age, right, these circuits start to decrease. And myelination is just speaking upon the fact that they basically got to have a coating on there that allows electricity to flow from one end to the other. It's like putting on an electrical coating on your brain cells so that they can flow between each other, so information can exchange. Because what happens when you get brain fog, or what happens when you can't recall a thought? That's literally, right, one thought not connecting to another, so you can't pull that information, right? You become dry. Now after 25, this is a natural decreasing process, right? So the older you get, we're starting to see young people that's starting to have brain issues, right? Now trauma causes brain issues as well. So most people don't realize, you go through trauma, you go through stress, you go through anxiety, and it actually starts to create inflammation within the brain. And this is why some people start to have mental health issues and things of that nature. And you have to go back and you have to build your brain up again. So when we have a place where the food is destroying your body and your brain, the air quality, and this is something that most people don't realize at all. There's a study where you can go look and you can test the ppm rate of the air quality in the hoods and the ghettos of America, right? And the air quality has an effect on your breathing. It has effect on the amount of oxygen that you get into the brain. Then you're talking about the fast food industries. There ain't nothing but fast food in the hoods of America, so you live in a food desert, right? You don't have access to this organic, nutrient available food, so now you can't even stimulate the body to get that light within the body that you're going to need to fight against, right, the stress and anxiety to be back in a normal area. There's a certain way you're supposed to eat when your body is stressed. You're supposed to eat foods that calms the body down, right? When you learning, you should be eating the blueberries and the berries that's feeding the brain. But because we don't eat to increase our body system for what we're doing in life, right? We eat because of taste. We can be eating food that tastes good, that goes against what we're actually doing, right? So based on your work and what you're doing in life, you should have food that complements that. And because we used to be regional people that only eat foods that were seasonal in our locations, and people had work, right, that was connected to their environment, right? But now it's not that same way. Now we can eat foods that come from Honduras. We can eat foods that come from Central America, eat foods that come from Florida. But you live in Oakland, California, you eat foods that come from a laboratory. It has nothing to do with your actual workload and capacity. You know, so therefore we at this point in time where people are eating for taste, right? But they're not eating the things that's actually good for them to build up their body systems, right? So this is the issue that we have it now, right? Because there's some people eating like a construction worker, right? But they office worker. You get what I'm saying? So there's people that eating like construction workers, yet they feel like they want to study all day. So it's slowing down their body bang systems. It's making them heavier. Nobody that sits in a chair all day should be eating heavy foods at all. It's just going to make you heavier, and you're going to sink into that chair more and more and more. And it's going to be hard for you to get up every single time, right? So you have to think about, what food should I eat that's connected to my goals? Now, this is something that we don't get about goal food. You know what I'm saying? Don't just go to Whole Foods. You got to go to Gold Foods. Oh, I want to learn a new subject. Well, I need to eat me a lot of berries because I need my brain activated. I need to eat me, the functional mushrooms that's going to help complement, right, that brain growth, right? I need to activate my gut, right? Like, think about what you're doing in the food that you eat that can complement what you're doing. I want to go to the next level. I'm about to smoke a blunt. Now it's slowing down your body systems. Now you have to fight against what you eat. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, now don't make no damn food. We got to go to Whole Foods, not Gold Food. We got to go to Gold Foods, not Whole Foods. You know what I'm saying? And anyway, I'm in the gym. I was feeling good. I thought I'd put that on your mind. Now, let's talk a little bit about some money, man. Because people always say it's too expensive to eat right? And I hear you, right? And here's the thing, man. I went to the grocery store the other day. I didn't go. The homie went. Steve went. And he found one of them watermelons. He had the watermelon, right? And I'm like, what's this? Because the watermelon looked like the watermelons we used to get off the truck back in the day that the OGs used to pull up in the hood. And we used to be able to, we would knock on the watermelon. And it would determine whether the watermelon was hollow, right? And, you would have the little yellow spots on there, right? And you can determine, and you look at the stripes, you can determine whether it's going to be sweet and whether this was a good one. We opened that watermelon up and it had all the seeds in there. It wasn't nothing but seeds. Oh, man, it was the best fruit. It's the best fruit before a workout, best fruit after a workout. It is great. Eating healthy is not expensive. The problem is, number one, people eat too much, right? People eat too much, right? People eat like linebackers and boxers, right? You don't need to eat that much. But when you train your body to eat 5 times a day, your body's going to crave 5 times a day. So therefore, you're getting hungry. So you have to take a step back. You have to fast. You have to reset. And then you have to tell your body when it's time to eat, right? So when you tell your body, hey, I don't want to eat just till 5 o'clock, then your body's going to say, okay, you sure? It's going to test you. It's going to make you hungry at 12 o'clock because that's what you're used to doing. It's going to make you hungry at night. But you like, nope, body, I got this. I don't want to eat nothing. Then eventually your body's system is going to get used to that, and it's going to start preparing your body around 5 o'clock to get hungry. It's going to start preparing your systems to start breaking down that food during around that time. And now your body only wants to eat 1 time a day, or your body only wants to eat twice per day, right? So our bodies are our slaves. They do what we say, right? You don't supposed to do what your body say. That's different, right? So your mind is supposed to control the body, right? So you tell your body, hey, I only want 1 meal. I know you used to eating, but oh well, all right? Because I eat too much in the first place, and I don't need it, right? There's a regimen that a boxer eats. So, right, because they know they have to eat towards their goals, right? But we have not been taught that. There's only professions that deal with sports that know about eating towards their goals. But anything outside that, we're not taught to eat towards our goals when it deals with the mental faculties of the brain. Only when it deals with like sports and body things, right? And all the other professionals know about this, but that has to be related to everything in society. So eat light and feel right.